As promised then, for the very first time on the show, we welcome in Mario Suarez. Just a little resume for you. Of course, he played the majority of his career as a defensive midfield for Atletico Madrid. A number of honours during that time as well. A little bit of Watford for a season. Rayo Vallecano was his final stint before he retired last year. Mario, thank you very much for being with us.
Thanks to you. It's a pleasure for me.
Well, you say that now. That might change.
Not later.
Before we talk about what happened at the weekend, I just want to talk to you about Simeone. Was he always angry?
No. It looks like that, but no, it's all intensity, all passion, and it was what you see on TV. I think it's like that. I think he improved the club, improved all the players he have, and I think his new contract, is a good news for all the people who wants or who likes Atletico de Madrid.
Did you have a good relationship? For example, could you laugh at his hair if he was having a bad day?
No. I think no one can do that. It's not a good idea. It's not a good idea.
We'll talk about Atleti later on, but let's just remind you how things stand in La Liga going into the international break. Girona, what a fairy tale story that has proved to be. 2 points clear of Real Madrid. Now, Barcelona are only sitting third. They're only 4 points adrift, yet there's been so much criticism thrown towards Barca over the last couple of weeks. 3 points and nothing more. That was after that 2-1 victory against Alaves, and what was striking was about how bad they were in the first half, Ali. Like, we were expecting a response from what happened midweek in the Champions League, and there was nothing.
Right. Not only what happened in midweek in Champions League, what happened the weekend before against Real Sociedad, where they got taken apart by Real Sociedad and somehow escaped there with a 1-0 win, late goal by Ronald Araujo. And so there was an admission by Xavi that the team hadn't played well against Real Sociedad, that indeed, in El Clásico we played well, but we didn't get the result. Against Real Sociedad we played poorly, but we did get the 3 points. I think this is going to be useful for us. And so here we go to Shakhtar. You think there's going to be a response there? Nope. In fact, to the point that Xavi says, this is probably the worst that we've looked in the 2 years that I've been a manager. So, of course, to your point, yes, there's going to be a response. This is the moment, 18 seconds in, they're losing the game 1-0. And what was even more troubling than giving up the early goal in the manner in which they did is the first 45 minutes, how lackluster and underwhelming that performance was, that created no real opportunities, that the chances were created by Samu Omorodion from Alaves, who was taking Jules Koundé to pieces on his birthday, by the way. Happy birthday, Jules Koundé. Had a great time. Yeah, absolutely fantastic time he had.
Same birthday as Josh.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we digress. But the truth is that you look at Barcelona, and the problem is that it's not just one thing that it's not working. It's just a multitude of things that it's not working. And Xavi himself is searching. He's searching for formation. He's searching for personnel. He's searching for players and combinations that are actually going to work together. He was searching desperately from goals from Lewandowski, and he got those late against Alaves, and indeed that's why they get the 3 points. And that's the only thing that you can turn into a positive from that performance, that Lewandowski is back to scoring goals. Other than that, nothing to highlight other than what was a very underwhelming, frustrating performance, yet again, from Barcelona.
Mario, Xavi, after the game, talked about the pressure getting to some of the players that was coming from outside sources like the media. And you look at this Barcelona team, we've talked about how young they are and how they kind of play with such freedom. Do you understand how that sort of criticism could get to these young players?
Well, I think they are receiving a lot of critics. They are not playing for sure the way Xavi wants. It's true that they have key players injured, or it has been injured, like Lewandowski, like Pedri, De Jong, Araujo. And, well, it's true that maybe the young players feel this pressure more than the experienced one. But I don't know, because these young players are stars, playing with their national teams, like Gavi, like Pedri, like Araujo, like Koundé. I think they are all big players. They are not playing the way we are used to see Barcelona. But the good news for them, I think, is that they are winning these kind of difficult games that they are not playing well, but they are getting the points. So I think that is the thing that must be good for them. And now they will have time in this international break to maybe recover some players and to perform in a better way in the next games.
Lewandowski, of course, scored both goals in the second half. But I want to talk to you, boys, about the incident that we saw against the 16-year-old. Now, he was asked about this after the game. The situation is just a coincidence. It's a normal situation on the pitch between two players yelling at each other. Well, one was yelling more. There is no bad blood or bad intentions between me and Lamine. Everything is fine, and there is nothing hidden in this situation. There really is nothing worth commenting on. Big deal, Shaq?
Not for me, no. Listen, on the one hand, it's not great to have a player of Lewandowski's stature kind of remonstrating with a 16-year-old. On the other, players do this all the time. And if you're Lamine Yamal, even though you're 16, now that you're with the first team, you're going to have to expect some of these exchanges when there's disappointment. Players kind of have these conversations, shout at each other, and it's forgotten immediately after. That, for me, is just par for the course here, and maybe it forces Lamine Yamal to recognise certain things, and in particular about how teammates may communicate. But I don't see it as that big an issue.
There was a very clear image after the first goal by Lewandowski. Great header, by the way, by Lewandowski. Yeah. Elite level Soto goal, in which after he celebrates the goal, they do a close-up of him, and he's essentially saying, well, you give me one chance, finally one cross, I'm going to put it away. And I think it's part of the frustration from Lewandowski in that he's saying, look, I'm not getting any service here. You give me a service, I'm going to produce. And that's, I think, the conversation with Lamine Yamal. It's a continuation of that same feeling. I'm not getting service. This kid is not giving me service. Nobody's giving me service. And so, therefore, I'm going to get mad at somebody. And in this case, Lamine Yamal was the one that, well, in the end, got blamed for everything in the eyes of Robert Lewandowski.
He's only 16, Mario. Surely he could be a bit nicer.
Nah, I think what happens in the pitch must remain in the pitch. And Lewandowski talked today. I think in Spain we saw images after this thing, and they were talking good, they were laughing. So I think there are things that when you are playing a match, the intensity or the emotions are higher than usual, and you sometimes do things that you don't mean to. But I think that's it. And it's okay for the future.
You know what was funny? Lamine Yamal, after he kind of sticks his hand out, right?
Yes.
And he almost like, oh, no, you're not going to give me anything? Oh, all right, okay, well, I'll see you. I'll see you later.
To your point, Dan, I think you're nicer, or Lewandowski is nicer to Lamine Yamal on the Monday morning or whatever next day the training. And you sit and have that conversation about you want the service early, when you want the service, where you want it. On the pitches.
It's international break, though. Yamin might be going,
it's a long time to think about that. Is that
yes.
What you don't want, though, is Lamine Yamal or taking the initiative away from Lamine Yamal, because what makes him an explosive player is his ability to take players on in 1v1 situations. You don't want him to think twice about doing that, because now he's thinking, as many players did over the course of the year, we must pass the ball to Messi. We got to find Messi. We got to find Messi. That you put that in his mind if you're Lewandowski. I got to find Lewandowski. If not, he's not going to get mad at me. If you're Lamine Yamal, you got to continue to play your game. Just make better decisions when you get in position, when you can service the ball to Lewandowski.